Some fighters learn how to win. Others learn how to survive. But every once in a while, a young fighter comes along who seems born to hurt people inside the ring. The moment Caden Griffiths steps between the ropes, there is a different energy in the air. His opponents know what's coming. The crowd knows what's coming. And yet, nobody seems able to stop it. The pressure, the body shots, the relentless aggression. At only 19 years old, Griffiths has already built a reputation as one of boxing's most exciting young prospects. But before the knockouts, before the headlines, and before the growing fan base, there was simply a young kid with a dream and an obsession. His story begins in Lake Havasu, Arizona. Growing up, Caden was surrounded by competition. Sports were a natural part of life, but boxing quickly separated itself from everything else. Unlike many future fighters who discover the sport later in life, Griffiths was introduced to boxing almost before he could understand what it truly was. His father became his first coach. At only 4 years old, Caden began learning the fundamentals. The lessons were simple at first. A jab, a cross, basic footwork, simple movements repeated over and over again. But even at that young age, something stood out. He wasn't treating boxing like a hobby. He wasn't showing up because someone forced him. He genuinely loved it. Every day he wanted more. Every day he wanted another session. Every day he wanted another chance to improve. While most children were thinking about toys and games, Griffiths was thinking about boxing. The gym slowly became a second home. The heavy bags became familiar friends. The sound of gloves hitting pads became part of his daily routine. As the years passed, his dedication began attracting attention. Coaches noticed his work ethic. Training partners noticed his intensity. And opponents noticed something even more dangerous. Power. Real power. Not the kind that develops late in a career. Not the kind that comes from perfect technique alone. Natural power. The type that instantly changes fights. Combined with his aggression, it made him a difficult challenge for fighters his own age. Many young boxers preferred moving around the ring. Many liked scoring points. Griffiths preferred something different. He wanted to break opponents down. He wanted to force mistakes. He wanted to dominate. And that mentality began producing results. Tournament after tournament. Fight after fight. Victory after victory. His name slowly started spreading throughout the amateur circuit. People began talking about the kid from Arizona who fought like every round was a championship round. He wasn't interested in simply winning decisions. He wanted to make statements. As his confidence grew, so did his ambitions. Many young athletes dream of becoming champions. Griffiths expected it. There was a belief inside him that he belonged at the top. Not someday. Soon. That confidence wasn't arrogance. It was built from thousands of hours inside the gym. Thousands of rounds. Thousands of punches. Thousands of sacrifices. The higher he climbed through the amateur ranks, the tougher the competition became. But the tougher the competition became, the better Griffiths seemed to perform. Pressure never intimidated him. Big stages never intimidated him. Expectations never intimidated him. If anything, they motivated him. By now, he had become one of the most talked about young fighters in amateur boxing. Yet there was still one challenge waiting for him. One fight that would become a major chapter in his development. Standing across the ring would be another future star. A young fighter named Carmel Moughton. Even before the opening bell, many fans viewed the matchup as a glimpse into boxing's future. Two elite prospects. Two undefeated mindsets. Two fighters determined to prove they were the better man. When the fight finally began, it exceeded every expectation. From the opening seconds, neither fighter showed fear. Neither fighter looked to play it safe. Neither fighter wanted to give an inch. Moughton attacked. Griffiths attacked right back. Martin landed combinations. Griffiths answered with pressure. Every exchange seemed heavier than the last. Every round felt like it could change the outcome. The crowd watched two teenagers fight with the intensity of seasoned professionals. The pace was incredible. The action was non-stop. There were no easy moments. No opportunities to relax. No time to breathe. Whenever one fighter appeared to gain momentum, the other responded immediately. It was the kind of fight that creates respect between rivals. The kind of fight people remember years later. The kind of fight that reveals character. For Griffiths, it revealed something important. His willingness to keep fighting no matter what. Even when momentum shifted. Even when things became. Even when victory wasn't guaranteed. He kept coming forward. He kept believing. He kept fighting. When the final decision was announced, however, it wasn't his hand that was raised. The judges awarded the victory to Martin. For Griffiths, it was a painful moment. Nobody likes losing, especially competitors with championship ambitions. For a brief moment, disappointment filled the air. Months of preparation. Months of sacrifice. And the result wasn't what he wanted. But sometimes, the most important victories come disguised as defeats. Many fighters allow losses to break them. Others allow losses to define them. Griffiths chose a different path. He used the defeat as fuel. Instead of making excuses, he returned to work. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he improved. Instead of dwelling on the result, he focused on the future. That loss planted a fire inside him. A fire that would continue burning throughout the rest of his career. Years later, when both young stars eventually turned professional, the lessons from that battle remained. The experience had made him stronger. The disappointment had made him hungrier. And the future suddenly looked brighter than ever. Because amateur success is one thing. Professional boxing is something entirely different. Bigger stages. Bigger audiences. Bigger opportunities. And far greater risks. The question now wasn't whether Caden Griffiths could dominate amateurs. The question was whether he could carry that success into the professional ranks. Very soon, the boxing world would get its answer. And the answer would arrive in spectacular fashion. After years of grinding through the amateur ranks, Caden Griffiths was finally ready for the next step. The gloves were smaller. The rounds were longer. The opponents were tougher. And the expectations were higher than ever. Professional boxing is where dreams either come to life or fall apart. Many talented amateurs struggle after turning professional. Others need years to adjust. But from the moment Griffiths made his professional debut, it became obvious that he wasn't interested in taking the slow route. He wanted to make an impact immediately. His first professional assignment came against Juan Romero. On paper, it was a standard debut fight. A young prospect facing an experienced opponent. But once the opening bell rang, it quickly became clear that Griffiths was operating at a different level. From the very beginning, he looked calm, focused, dangerous. There was no nervous energy, no hesitation, no sign that this was his first professional appearance. Instead, he looked like a fighter who had been preparing for this moment his entire life. The jab came first, sharp and accurate. Then came the hooks. Then the body shots. Every punch landed with bad intentions. Romero tried to settle into the fight. He tried finding a rhythm. But Griffiths gave him no opportunity. The pressure was constant. The attacks never stopped. And before long, the bodywork started producing results. A vicious shot crashed into Romero's midsection. The impact was immediate. His body folded. His legs weakened. And suddenly, he found himself staring up from the canvas. The crowd erupted. It was the first glimpse of something that would soon become a trademark of Griffith's style. Devastating body punching. The fight continued. But momentum had completely shifted. Romero was now fighting for survival. Griffiths sensed it immediately. Like a predator recognizing weakness, he increased the pressure. The punches became heavier. The attacks became more aggressive. Then another crushing shot landed downstairs. This time, there was no recovery. The referee stepped in. The fight was over. Professional debut. Professional victory. Professional statement. Most fighters would be satisfied with that kind of start. Griffiths was not. He wanted more. His second professional fight came against Marcus Bowes. By now, word was beginning to spread. People were starting to notice the young prospect from Arizona. The excitement surrounding him continued to grow, and Griffiths seemed determined to justify every bit of that attention. From the opening round, he established control. He dictated the pace. He controlled the distance. And most importantly, he controlled the damage. Bowes tried fighting back. He showed courage. He showed toughness. But courage alone isn't enough against a fighter who refuses to stop attacking. Griffiths mixed his punches beautifully. Head, body, head, body. Every combination seemed designed to create openings for the next one. Then came the breakthrough. A perfectly timed right hand landed flush. The effect was dramatic. Bowes remained standing, but mentally he looked gone. His reaction slowed. His eyes lost focus. His body stopped responding. The referee immediately recognized the danger. Without hesitation, he waved off the fight. Another stoppage victory. Another opponent overwhelmed. Another highlight for the growing collection. By now, fans were beginning to ask an important question. Was Griffiths simply beating weaker opponents? Or was he genuinely special? The answer would begin arriving in his next fight. His opponent was Fernando Ruiz. Unlike previous opponents, Ruiz entered the ring undefeated. Confidence surrounded him. Many believed he possessed the skills necessary to challenge Griffiths. For the first time in his professional career, Griffiths faced an opponent carrying real momentum. The challenge seemed bigger. The stakes felt higher. But Griffiths looked completely unfazed. As soon as the fight started, he marched forward. No feeling out process. No cautious approach. No waiting. Just pressure. Pure pressure. Ruiz attempted using movement. Griffiths cut off the ring. Ruiz attempted counterpunching. Griffiths answered with combinations. Ruiz attempted standing his ground. Griffiths forced him backward. No matter what adjustment Ruiz made, Griffiths found an answer. And those answers came in the form of punches. Lots of punches. The body shots continued to land. The hooks continued to connect. The pressure continued building. Eventually, the damage became too much. Ruiz started breaking down. The confidence disappeared. The resistance faded. And Griffiths delivered another devastating finish. An undefeated fighter had entered the ring. A defeated fighter left it. The message was becoming impossible to ignore. Caden Griffiths wasn't just winning. He was dominating. Yet perhaps his most impressive performance was still to come. The next challenge arrived in the form of Edgar Gutierrez. By this point, Griffiths was attracting serious attention. Fans loved his aggressive style. Analysts praised his body punching. Promoters recognized his potential. Every fight felt bigger than the last. And against Gutierrez, Griffiths delivered one of his most complete performances yet. From the opening bell, he looked sharp. Everything seemed polished. The footwork, the timing, the punch selection, the composure. It was the performance of a young fighter beginning to understand his own abilities. Rather than rushing recklessly forward, Griffiths applied intelligent pressure. He forced Gutierrez into uncomfortable positions. He took away space. He removed opportunities. Every second inside the ring became difficult. Whenever Gutierrez tried escaping, Griffiths followed. Whenever Gutierrez tried fighting back, Griffiths answered. And whenever Gutierrez slowed down, Griffiths attacked. The body shots were especially brutal. Each one seemed to drain a little more energy, a little more confidence, a little more resistance. Round after round, the punishment accumulated. The pressure never stopped. The attacks never slowed. Eventually, the referee had no choice. The contest was stopped. Another victory. Another finish. Another reminder that Griffiths was developing into one of boxing's most dangerous young prospects. And perhaps the most frightening part? He was still improving, still learning, still growing. The rest of the division could only watch as the young Arizona native continued climbing the ladder. But the biggest tests of his career were still waiting. And soon, Griffiths would face opponents capable of revealing just how high his ceiling truly was.